having to open up our friendship circles to welcome them in, or whether it's new people joining your growth group, or whether it's even splitting growth groups to make room for new people. It could be starting new ministries. It could be asking new people to step up and serve in ministries. And of course, when our buildings fill up, sending people out. And the point is that for a church that's getting on with God's mission of proclaiming the good news of Jesus to the world around them, and seeing the lost saved, change is going to be a constant, and it will be a normal dynamic of church life, in small ways and in big ways. And of course, what we're talking about tonight and last month is a big way, and we need to acknowledge that. And so what we're proposing and planning this year is really an outworking of God working in and through us at Crosslight as we get on with the mission and vision here to see the lost saved. And so, as you know, our proposal is to raise up and send a group of 15 to 20 adults plus kids from 10am Peakhurst to strengthen 10am Mortdale so that the gospel ministry can grow at both sites. And the reason we're doing this is because Peakhurst is full. The hall there up at the school has been a great blessing for us over the last 16 years, but it's of limited size. And so it's once again full. And the general rule in church growth dynamics is once a room or a building gets 80% full, then growth stops. Because as new people come, they don't feel like there's space for them, they hang out at the back, and so they don't feel comfortable and they don't stick. And so Peakhurst has hit that threshold, and so we need to free up space to welcome and include newcomers. Because if we don't, we're effectively saying our doors are closed. Not because we mean to, not because we want to, but because practically we're saying, well, there is no room. And so we want to create room because there are, as we know, there are fields and fields and fields around us of people who are unchurched, who are unbelievers, who are de-churched, who are new families, who are Christians relocating, and we want space to welcome them. The second reason is we want to do this is so that we can rebuild ministry momentum here at Mortdale 10am, particularly amongst the families' ministry. 10am Mortdale has had a long history of faithful and fruitful gospel ministry, but in its current season, we know there are few families, and the reality is when a new family does come, they will hear the gospel, they will be welcomed well, yes, absolutely. But if their children don't have peers, inevitably, not always, but inevitably they will look for something else that does have a ministry that caters for their family. And so while our Mortdale congregation would dearly love a group to come over, not to replace them and not to do everything for them, but to work together so that ministry can flourish here again. And so just to give us some perspective, and I showed this at the All-In service, Peakhurst currently has 180 members, 105 adults, 75 kids. Mortdale 10 o'clock has 75 members, 61 adults and 14 kids and youth. Peakhurst is well resourced with musicians and singers and service leaders and kids leaders, and Mortdale has some of these but far fewer. And so for the sake of the gospel in both Peakhurst and Mortdale, it would be much better if we could do this. Go from that to that. And to help us contribute to be better together, we want to, as I said, raise up a group from Peakhurst that will to come to Mortdale to create space for Peakhurst to grow, provide momentum and critical mass here at Mortdale, and facilitate growth at both sites. That's what we want to see, right? So who are we looking for? We're looking for 15 to 20 mission-minded adults plus kids who are on board with the vision, see the gospel urgency, are willing to count the cost, and are ready to serve. Now, ideally, we can't manufacture this, but ideally it would include those range of gifts that will be most helpful for Mortdale. Musicians and singers, kids church leaders, service leaders, Bible study leaders. And I've been greatly encouraged really by so many that I've been chatting to in the months since the All-In, as people have been asking, or prayerfully asking, Lord, where can I best serve you with my time and my gifts and my life, Peakhurst and Mortdale? And I think a measure of that is this group that's here. I've had lots of conversations over this last month with people saying they're really open to being part of the group that comes from Peakhurst down to Mortdale. And I know Mortdale is keen for this to happen as soon as possible. Now, in a moment, I'm going to spell out what the plan is for choosing who that group will be and how we'll prepare and get ready for that move. But before we do that, I just want to ask if there's any questions on that sort of intro, rationale, purpose stuff. Anyone got any questions so far? John? It's about 220. Does that sound about right, Tony McCarry? Yeah, yeah. And so... For those of you from Mortar, John's on the setup, pack-up team at Pico, so...
But I'm a little bit worried about how much grass there is.
We've had a couple of big funerals here in the last 12 months, and we've jammed over 220 in here, but that's like every seat taken. So take 80% of that, you probably fit 160 in here before you're starting to feel full. At the moment, we're getting roughly, on average, say 60 people here on a Sunday morning. So that's okay. That's not insignificant. But, we can easily fill this space here and have empty wings, yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, Liz.
The Grafts didn't mention night church.
No.
Is that a congregation that you're also encouraging to consider this, or needs growth, or how does night church fit in?
Yeah, it's a good question. Thanks, Liz. Given the sort of demographic of our preferred demographic is families, right? And we don't have young families at night church. We have some families with teens, and I think that's where they're likely going to stay, and because that's where their peers are. So at the moment, we're not really pitching this to 6 o'clock. Other questions? Bryony. Yeah.
So I understand the focus.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So that skill set, that would ideal. There might be people in that space who can play the piano or whatever, and don't have children. That's okay. And really, we're just it's very open, right? I just want to say this is going to be an organic process. We'll see who God leads to puts it on their heart to come. And God willing, in His sovereignty, we get a lovely mix of people. And I'm not saying don't have in mind, we need 10 families with 8 families with kids in primary school and 5 people empty nesters, whatever. It's just don't have that in mind. It's just let's see who God raises up. This is the need, and we'll see who God puts on their heart to come. Yeah. Now, if we got to the point, and I'll get to this a little bit later, but if we got to the point where 50 people wanted to come, then we might get a little bit selective, and we can probably be a bit more choosy, right? If we get the exact number and it is what it is, it is what it is, right? Yeah. Tony. Yeah. 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 Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's think about how we're going to go about selecting who comes or working out who comes and how we go about preparing. So, I've broken up into 6 stages or phases, okay? Stage 1, we've already done. So that was the announcement last month. We're casting the vision, the reason for the move, urging people to pray, where can I serve you best, Pico Sir Mortdale, and we've started praying. So that's done. Stage 2 is where we're at now. This is the recruiting phase. It's about providing an opportunity to clarify our purpose and what we're doing, spell out the process for selecting and preparing the church for the move, identifying the sending group. And so to that last point, we've outlined who we're looking for to go, people with particular skills, ideally. But that's not to say people are already serving in those ways. There might be people who, for instance, aren't serving in the children's ministry, but would happily be willing to be trained and be part of it. There might be someone who has those skills. Maybe they're a musician, but for whatever reason, they're not in the music team up at Peakhurst. So you don't have to be serving those ways already. I just want to say there's some reasons not to go, and I think it's worth spelling that out. It's not a good reason to go if you're unhappy at Peakhurst. It's not a good reason to go if you're just looking for a change or if it's convenient. Because if that's the motivation, it won't take too long before that motivation wanes. And the motivation that's going to last, and what we want is to see people who are on board for seeing people won for Christ in Peakhurst and Mortdale. Because unless that's your motive, you'll quickly become disillusioned or disengaged. So how do we work out who's going to be part of this group? Well, from tonight on, I'm going to be asking people for expressions of interest, okay? Now, an expression of interest is not a definite yes. It might be, yep, I'm ready to sign up tonight, I'm keen. But an expression of interest is saying, I'm interested, I want to know more, I want to talk about it, okay? And from there, we'll begin to have conversations with those who are interested. Start to see what bubbles up, okay? Now, as I said, if we get too many people, and some people have been asking me this, what happens if we get too many? Let's say we get 50 people want to go. Well, that'd be great for Mortdale, wouldn't it? Right? Not so good for Peakhurst. So we need to manage that. And Liana and I were part of a church plant before we went to Bible college where this exact thing happened. Did a church plant out of Beverly Hills. We went out to Beverly Hills Primary School. A bunch of families went, yeah, let's go. And off we went, and we just decimated the home church. And we just didn't think about that and manage that well. So we don't want to repeat that. And so if there was more than we wanted, then the ministry team would be talking to all those who expressed interest about whether they go or whether they stay. We want mission-minded and capable people at both sites. And we might need to say to some people, thanks for being willing to go, but would you be willing to stay? Okay, so that'd just have to be a series of conversations we had. If we get less than 15 people, then us as a ministry team would probably start having some conversations with people and just asking them, have they considered going? Would they consider going? Would it help if others were going with them? We really want to make sure that we send a core group over that's going to make a difference. And just like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, too hot, too cold, just right, the perfect scenario is we get 15 or 20 people with a great mix of skills and it's all hunky-dory and it just works out naturally and beautifully. By the way, I've already had 4 people or couples say that they are in if we want them. That's great, right? So there's people already said that they're happy to be considered to go if that would be helpful. Now, I think this process, it might take a matter of weeks. It could take up to 6 weeks, but I'd hope by the end of April, we have sort of settled on the team that's going from Peakhurst to Mortdale. But, as you can see there on the slide, we don't just want to identify a group of goers, we also want to identify some key grafters from here at Mortdale 10 who can work with the goers. So we ideally want about 4 or 5 people from Mortdale 10 o'clock who know the Mortdale congregation well, who know the needs and opportunities here at 10 o'clock, who know the areas needed for improvement and change, and then they can work with the goers to help prepare them and land well. Because there's no point a team from Peakhurst saying, oh, yeah, we're coming, and yeah, we're going to do this, this, and this, but actually they need to be guided and led by those here at Mortdale. So it needs to be a partnership. So we need a small team of grafters, people here from Mortdale, to work with the goers from Peakhurst. On top of that, we also want to recruit a small team of growers, this is from Peakhurst, to plan for the next season of growth at Peakhurst. Because it's going to be challenging at Peakhurst to send people out from Mortale. And so Peakhurst is going to need a plan for that and to be re-envisioned for the next season of growth. What we don't want is when people leave, and we're going to mourn that and grieve that, but we don't want just to go, oh, woe is us. But actually want to go, okay, let's go, God. Let's try and grow this church again under God's guidance and sovereignty. And of course, throughout all of that, we want to continue to pray. Any questions on formulating the team? Kaylee, you look like you want to ask a question. No?
I was going to ask about April, but I'm assuming that the next team will tell us why.
Okay.
If we were going to spend the year figuring this out.
We'll come to timing at the end. Yeah, we'll talk about timing at the end. Yeah. Any other questions? Kev? I think, Kevin, we'd have to look at the impact that would have on Peakhurst, because we want to ensure that both sites are strong, ready for the next season. Maybe. We'd have to look at it. We'll see. Yeah. We're going to talk about that now. Okay, stage 3 and stage 4 are what we're talking about here. So stage 3 is getting the team together, or the teams really, and this will be different for each group. So your goers and your grafters will be one team, okay, so your 15, 20 people plus the small group from Mortale, and then your growers a separate team. So for the goers and the grafters, these are the people coming in here to Mortale. Meeting monthly, and then focusing on, initially, what are the needs and opportunities here at Mortale? What changes or improvements are required? And developing a plan to help the team and the congregation ready to launch. Okay, so it's needs analysis, planning. Okay, and then the group and the congregation here at Mortale starting to pray for 5 people to join this congregation when we launch, whenever that may be. Because we want mission to be the DNA of this whole thing, don't we? We want everyone praying for 5 people to come and join us when we do it. So that's the goers and the grafters, needs and opportunities, planning. Growers, same thing, meet monthly and do an impact analysis on who's going. So if we say, okay, we've got these 20 people going and they serve in these teams and that's going to leave these gaps, what do we need to do in the meantime to get ready for those people being sent? Who do we need to tap on the shoulder to join this team to be trained up over the next 6 or 9 months, or whatever it might be? What ways might we, things might we do to renew or re-envision mission life up at Peakhurst? And of course, like down here at Mortale, praying for 5 people to join us once the goers have been sent. And so the outcome of stage 3, this planning phase, is a clear understanding of what the reality is and planning to pulling together a plan that's going to help maximise success at both sites post the launch. So that's planning phase. Stage 4 is preparing. So we've got our plan, and this is getting everyone ready, training them up, making sure everyone's got clear roles and everyone's clear about what they're going to do when they land. So for the goers and grafters, like I said, clarifying roles, building relational, starting to think, how do we build relational connection between the goers, the team coming down, and the existing grafters here at Mortale? We don't just want them to lob up day one and not know people. So think about how do we build relational connection. Getting serving teams working together on changes and improvements and integration. So Steve here, Steve is like the music team basically at 10 o'clock with Justin. Yeah. So any musos coming down, Steve and Justin working together with you guys on music. If others are going to be coming down involved in the kids ministry, how do the kids, bringing together the kids team? So working together in serving teams for that. Communicating changes and managing expectations here at Mortale. For the growers, training up those who are going to backfill the goers planning for the send-off celebration, planning for the relaunch, and then both groups continuing to pray. Now it's in this phase, stage 4, where we're prepared. This is the time where we will set the date for the launch or the relaunch. And I'll explain what I mean about launch in a moment. But we want to, not specifying timing just yet, we want to see how much work there needs to be done, and is it going to take a long time or is it going to take a short time? And we don't know until we get into it and do that work as a team, okay? So it's in that phase that we'll set the launch date. The outcome of this stage is the groups are prepared, each congregation has a clear understanding of expectations, they're excited and they're ready to launch. Which brings us up to launch phase, stage 5. And this is where, so we're launching at both sites ineffectively, but obviously different ways. Here at Mortdale will be a 2-phase launch. A soft launch where the goers arrive for their first Sunday and spend 4 to 6 weeks, however long the team decides is best, ironing things out and getting to know each other, okay? Followed by a public launch. And we'll do something like a Super Sunday, where we invite all those people that we've been praying for over the course of the year, advertise in the local area, and have a big day to start off the new season of ministry. So a 2-phase launch down here at Mortdale. Similarly for Peakhurst, there'll be a celebration send-off at Peakhurst for those going. So if you think about a timeline, Sunday, first Sunday of the month, farewell at Peakhurst. Second Sunday of the month, the team arrives at Mortdale. And then there's 4 weeks or 6 weeks preparation. Similarly, have some time to adjust to the new reality for the folks at Peakhurst, and same day as things are launched publicly here at Mortdale, do a Super Sunday up at Peakhurst, invite all their friends that we've been praying for, advertise in the local area, and launch into the new season of ministry. So that's launch phase. And then final one is, stage 6 is just review and adjust. So ensuring that we're reviewing what's working well, what's not working well, what needs to change, getting feedback stories across the sites, hearing from Mortdale what's going well, likewise down at Mortdale, hearing about people converted or coming to church or whatever it is, encouraging stories. That will be stage 6. So, just to recap, phase 1 is the announcement, the vision, we're done. Phase 2, go this way. There we go. Needs and analysis planning. Stage 4, preparation and training. Stage 5, send and launch. Stage 6, review and adjust. Get to questions in one tick. I just want to do timing. Now, I've deliberately not put dates around those stages, okay, because we want to allow the team to be able to work out how much needs to be done and what's realistic. So rather than set a hard deadline, go, right, it's got to be this date, and then flog everyone to meet that date and cause unnecessary angst and stress. Let's work it out as once we know how much is involved. Ideally, I want this to be in place by this time next year. So I think the sooner we can do it for both sites, the better. The longer we hold off, the longer or the more we're delaying the problem of growth at both sides. And so that's why in the training and preparation stage, we'll aim to set the launch dates. So that's the process. I'm sure you got lots of questions. What questions you got? Tony? Yep, yeah, providing updates, yep. And not just to 8 and 6, but to the congregations, right, what's going on, yeah. Other questions? Yeah, and that's a good point, John. And I think I would hope that as people are weighing this up and praying about it, that would be part of their consideration. But what I don't want to do is to put a ring fence around the families who are sort of this side of Roberts Road or whatever, and say, right, you're the people who need to go, because they may not want to go. And so I want people who want to go, who catch the vision, who see what we're on about here. And I think whether it's 5-minute drive to church or a 10-minute drive to church is neither here nor there in today's day and age. Lots of people will travel 15 or 20 minutes where they're relationally connected. So that's less important. But as families, as couples, as individuals are weighing it up, they might go, yeah, actually, we're a bit closer, and that's going to be better. That's going to help me missionally. That's going to help me connect with my families and my friends around me into church. I think that's a good reason. I think it's not a good reason to go, yeah, it's 5 minutes closer, so I'll go there. Because I want people to come because they catch the vision and they're mission-minded. Yeah. Karen, you put up your hand.
Well, I was going to ask a pragmatic question. What sort of information is going to be helpful for people to tell you if they say, yeah, I'm interested? Have you got a list of questions or?
At the moment, there'll be a QR code. Oh, I forgot to bring the paper forms with me. They're in the office. Yeah, can you grab them? Thanks, Nigel. They're just on the trays outside my office. Thanks, mate. I've got a feedback form, and you can indicate whether you're a goer, a grower, a grafter, and whether you're in. You want to think and pray about it, or you want to talk to me or Alan about it, or Karen. So at the moment, and there's a free text form on that form. You can just pop a question in or a comment, whatever. So at the moment, if you're interested and you want to talk about it, let's just start the conversation. Yeah.
To grow community between the two sides, but also amongst us all, is there any thought that people can join one Bible study to another, that we might attend some Bible studies that just have gone on, so people might want to come to us, so we start fellowshipping as a family?
Yeah, good question, Kevin. So, yeah, we were talking about this in staff meeting the other day. What will we do with Bible studies? I don't want to force people into particular groups. I think it naturally, it makes natural sense for us to be doing community with our congregation. But remember that we're going through a transition phase here, and for those who are leaving Peakhurst and those their regular Sunday friends, actually staying in the Bible study group they were in last year might actually be a helpful thing as they transition. I think over time, if we think 5 years down the track, I think most of our Bible studies will be predominantly congregation-based. But already we do have mixed people mixing across congregation, and that's great. I think that's one of the blessings of us being together, because there's more flexibility. And so I never want to mandate being in a Bible study in your own congregation. I think that's helpful, but it's not necessary. And so I think my short answer to that, Kevin, is flexibility. Yeah. Andrew, and then back to you, Lise. Yeah, Andrew.
Sorry, mine is to do with the question. Can you repeat the question that is asked so that the people online can hear what the questions are?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Andrew, I'm struggling to hear you, mate. Can you speak up?
What projections have we seen with the kids ministry and moving into youth and things like that? Because naturally, a lot of those families may want to move to night services as well. We don't want to also drag on maybe a year or two, where we have been challenges with other groups wanting to move to a 6 o'clock service as well. Have you looked at that as well?
Yeah. I think that's a good point. So Andrew's question was, what if, giving some thought to those who come down and the trajectory of the ages of their children they might soon be moving naturally to night church, okay, and that's happening. That'll happen at both sites, yeah. We'll just have to look at it, Andrew. I think if we have 15 or 20 people and they're good people, we'll just go, okay, that's what God's given us, right? And if it's for a year or two, that's good, you know. If we had 40 people and choice, well, we might have the option to be a bit more choosy and picky and so on. But yeah, I think I'm happy to be open to whatever God gives us in that. Yeah, yeah. Lily? Yeah. 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 Yeah, we'd have to look at that. It's part of the fun of, you know, of ambiguity, right? It's just going, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. Yeah. Someone else had their hand up, was it? No? Lynn?
Would it be put to the people who are saying expression of interest to come down, that maybe they come down for 1 or 2 weeks just to have a look and see what it's like here before they make up their final mind, to see
Yeah.
whether it suits them?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's anyone's free to do that. But yeah, we could make that suggestion if they're uncertain or if they think that would be helpful. Yeah, I know someone who's done it already. Yep.
Speaking as a parent of a kid at Pico South,
Yeah.
I've been at the church. Can you
Yeah.
speak to maybe your thought process about the consideration that should be taken in that scenario? Where you're committed to that community. What does that actually look like?
Yeah. So Simone's question was, what about those families whose children are at Pico South? You know, they're students there. Should or shouldn't they be considering that this is an option? Okay, yeah, good question. So one school of thought would be, oh, my kids are at Pico South, therefore I've got there's a mission field there, and therefore I should stay there because church is at Pico South. I think my experience over the last 15 or so years that we've been in the school is most people who come to church haven't come from the school community. Now, that's not to say we shouldn't be in the school, being active witnesses in the school community. Most people come through other connections and so on. And so when Leona and I planted up at Pico South back in 2008, we thought, right, we're getting to school, and we're parents, and there'll be other parents, and we're going to evangelise all these parents at school, and we're going to have this sort of Sunday church gathering. It's going to be full of Pico South families. Well, in God's sort of sovereign plans and purposes, that hasn't quite worked out. Now, people come to the church through other means, like you guys and Kaylee and Adam and so on, but not necessarily because of they've been evangelised by church people. Now, we should keep doing that, by the way, and I think it's great that we have families in the school, and we have a great bunch of families from Pico's congregation in the school. So what I'm getting at is that most people will go where the relational connection is, and so they will mostly go where you go. And so if there's a family from Pico South who have kids there at the school, and they're witnessing to their friends and their family and their kids and so on, and they invite them to church, they'll go to Peakhurst, or they'll go wherever you go. If you say come down the road to Mortdale, they'll go. Because it's only 5 minutes away. It's not like it's 25 minutes away. I think we're seeing evidence of that in the kids club that we started last year, where not exclusively, but most of the children who are coming to that are Peakhurst South connections. So here we go, parents and families from Peakhurst, but they're driving 5 minutes down the road to Mortdale. So I think that goes to show that the location of church is less important then the relational connection, your friends will go where you go. So now that's not to say don't stay at the school, but I don't think it's as critical to like for those families who are at Peakhurst South to say, oh no, our kids are at this school, therefore we need to stay. Might be a good reason to stay, but I don't think it's essential. Carly. Why don't we all come here? Yeah. 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 Yep, good question. Why Carly said, well, why don't we just move Picos down here? We could do that, but the room would be full, and then we'd be thinking, oh, geez, we need to start a church plant. And so, you know, we need to start something new. And so...
You've just said a whole bunch of things about not keeping the parents at Pico South because that connection doesn't necessarily matter as much as we thought. I don't know. Anyway, okay.
So I think we because in terms of buildings, we can't all fit in one location, so we need two sites. I think it's helpful to have a footprint in Peakhurst. Church at the Peak / Crosslight Peakhurst has traction in that community, like brand awareness or whatever. I think it's obviously a thriving ministry. We want to keep that going, so we want to leverage that. I guess all I'm saying is that if it's not crucial that in terms of mission that a Peakhurst South family stays there in terms of mission if they want to be part of the team.
Just to add, I think, tell me if I'm incorrect, but you're saying why not just start a fourth congregation at Mortdale?
I don't know, or emphasise to the people who are at Picos that sometimes just as important to stay at Picos is to have that there. Like, you might feel the call to go to Mortdale, right?
Yeah.
But the call could be just as strong to stay at Picos because of...
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, please don't hear me saying that staying at Picos is not as important. I'm not saying that. Yeah. Lara.
So you talk about the skills centre, the 3 Heart, there was leaders, kids church and music. Are they like the greatest need for Mortdale, or is it more than that? Or is it they're the 3 key areas?
They're the biggest areas, I think, yeah, where our needs are, yeah. Yeah. Would anyone Mortdale like to comment on that? Gwendy? Tech, yeah. Andrew? You can still be part of the team and come across if you don't have those skills, yeah. It's about, like I think you can be trained in certain and be shown how to do certain things, right? It's coming across and being willing to get stuck in and serve and be part of the ministry here, yeah.
I'm happy to straighten these chairs. Would you support someone coming from Peakhurst to this church who didn't have a family?
Yes. Yeah. And some people have expressed that, and I think if they wanted to come, they'd be a great blessing.
Yeah. Would you include that in the 7 people?
In the 7 people? We're looking, ideally, Ken, we're looking for 15 to 20. Yeah.
So you could tag on some people on the end who don't have families, so it might go up to 25.
We're trying to get a balance between sending a strong team to Mortdale and leaving Peakhurst with a strong team as well. So we'll just see who puts their hand up, Kevin, and see what that balance looks like in terms of both sites, and go from there. Yeah. But if someone, like I've had some people who are older and have said we're willing to come, and they'd be a great blessing. Yeah. Gwendy?
Can I go back to the question on ministries? I don't think we've got any ministries here in Mortdale that are so Fairfield, any skills you have to offer, and that goes for skills to be used in the service, skills to be used in terms of, I think, helping out MIA Kids Club, helping out with any maintenance you'd like to help out with, helping out protecting, helping out. I'm sure there's lots of other ways.
Yeah.
We would love people to come and help us.
Yeah. And just to pick up on what Grenda's saying, it's not necessarily coming in to do a job. It's coming in to be part of this church family and to be part on mission here at Mortdale. And that could be serving in any number of ways. Okay, so that's what we're seeking to do. Okay, but the needs is obviously just helping people go, okay, maybe I could be of value there. Yeah. Someone had their hand up. Yeah, Lily? So Lily's question is, what would we be doing to support the kids in the transition? Okay, good question. Because some kids find change unsettling. So I think obviously parents need to have those discussions and work through that with their kids themselves. But I think that would be part of the planning and preparations phase of the team, and go, okay, all right, this is we're the group that's going. What do we need to do to help our kids? And so I'm not necessarily saying that's my job. I'm saying I think that would be the team working that out together. And of course, I'm going to support you guys and throughout that process. Yeah. You go, Tony.
Just back on Wendy's point, and what I said earlier, look, maybe it was out of context, but there's going to be a massive amount of growth in this area, and perhaps Peakhurst as well, but certainly in this area. And so, God blessing and with our mission, in 5 to 10 years' time, we could be talking about yet another site or another challenge to move and grow to bring all these people to the gospel. We have such a big mission to build, and where really this is God's blessing and preparation for more work to come.
Yeah. So for those online, Tony was just acknowledging the fact that Mortdale is a growing suburb, lots of proposed development plans, and so the mission field is big. Yeah, lots of opportunities. Yeah. Other questions? Bryony, Karen, Nigel, do you want to add anything to what we've said?
I think in terms of talking about the needs and some of the outlines you've given, the kinds of people we're looking for, there might be some particular needs, but as you said, like we want anyone who could come to come, and then as Glenn you said, there's lots of different needs in all sorts of ways at both sites that will continue to need to be met. And yeah, while there's particular space for families, yeah, I think all sorts of people can and will be a blessing to come and join the ministry here.
Okay.
We've talked about that as a staff team as we've been throwing it around. We're not just thinking, oh, just Evans.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I think, Stu, to the point that you were making about the relational time, as the team have been discussing it, I mean, each of us, our congregations are our family. And so first and foremost, whomever comes from Peakhurst to Mortdale, it's needing time to grow into that family and to connect and build those relationships. We do want to serve with one another. That's what it's about. And so we
Just before we go on, I just want to repeat for those online, Nigel just made the point that anyone is welcome. It's about coming and serving and being part of the church family here. So it's not particular skills that are essential. There's lots of opportunities to serve. And so those who are mission-minded and servant-hearted are welcome. And Karen was saying the relational impact or relational connection is important. And that goes not just for those coming in, but as we build and encourage, we'll inevitably encourage the 8 o'clockers here as well. Liana. Again, I'll repeat that for those online. Liana was saying how kids are often our best evangelists, and it'd be great to enthuse them for the plans as well, because they will not only invite their friends, but they'll encourage the children who are already here at Mortdale, some of whom love it when there's lots of kids here, but get discouraged when there's only one or two. So it'll be a great blessing for those families who are here. Someone else? No? There you go. There's a.
Don't repeat that for those online. I'm in, Stu. Let's make this happen.
All right, for those online, John Kirkland likes the idea of double morning tea, 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock morning tea. Yeah. There's a bonus. It's got to weigh up. You've got to weigh that up. You know.
You can actually bring someone to bring your coffee too before service.
Yeah. All sorts of bonuses. Okay. All right. Nigel.
I might have missed. You mentioned a time frame for forming the team at stage 2.
Yeah. So hopefully by the end of April. Yeah. Anything else? All right, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to give you a moment to either fill in the QR code. That'll take you to our comms portal, by the way, and then you can go to the Goer, Grafter, whatever, the 3 Gs. But if you don't want a QR code, you can, and do it digitally. Nigel's got some hard copy feedback forms there. So put your hand up if you want a feedback hard copy form from Nigel. And basically, it's just saying, yes, I'm interested in going, or I'm interested in being a goer or a grower or a grafter, or I want to talk to Stu about or Alan about it, or I just want time to think about it and pray about it. Okay. You might have a question that you didn't want to ask, or you've just thought about it now, or you've got a comment or a suggestion. There's a free form text box on both the form and the hard copy and the digital form. Okay, for that. So I'll just give you 2 minutes to do, 2 or 3 minutes to do that, and then we're just going to split up into little posses and pray. Okay. Anyone want a hard copy form? Over there. By the way, if you're here tonight and you just came because you're interested, that's fine. You can just say that. It's okay. Being here does not oblige you to be one of three. Okay, once you feel that you're in your form, if you're doing that, then turn to the people around you and let's spend some time praying in groups. There's a whole bunch of prayer points up on the screen you can pray for, and then I'll get up in about 4 or 5 minutes' time and we'll close our time together. So let's spend some time praying. right, friends, bring your prayers to an end there. Let's say the grace together up on the screen. Ready? The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all forevermore. Amen. Thanks for coming. If you've got any questions and you want to ask, come and see me. Otherwise, appreciate you being here and look forward to seeing what God does in and through Crosslight in the year ahead. Thanks.